They are not like us. 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 They are not like us.
In the quiet of the night, thoughts start to take flight. A simple wish, clear inside. Don't wanna cause trouble, that's right.
Hey everyone, it's me. Welcome back to this channel on narcissism. And today we're going to talk about co-parenting with someone who has narcissistic traits. It's tough enough to co-parent with somebody who is not narcissistic, let alone somebody who is. But if you are co-parenting with someone with narcissistic traits, or you're in a narcissistic relationship and you also have children together, this can be very difficult. So today we're going to talk about how to do it successfully. If you're new here, please subscribe and share this video around. We want to get information about narcissism out to the public because it's so misunderstood. And your support helps us to do that. Well, the whole idea of co-parenting is that both parents put their differences aside for the greater good of the child. Now, they don't all have to apply, but if you see a few of these patterns, it probably means that your co-parent has some narcissistic characteristics. Both parents try to work together to make sure the child has all the things they need. Everything from emotional support, educational opportunities, social opportunities, making sure they have food and clothing and everything else. When they lash out at you, it's not about you. It's about their inability to regulate their emotions. Typically, when you set a boundary with a narcissistic person, they either completely disregard it or they punish you for setting it. For example, if you say that you don't want them to speak to you in a certain way, they'll either continue to speak to you in that way, or they'll punish you by speaking to you in that way even more. How will you handle school breaks? What will you do if one parent wants to move out of state with the child? This is important because narcissistic people do not like to lose control. Maybe you think if you just try hard enough you can help them become a better person, but that is not true. It's not your job to save them. In fact, it will only hurt you. Having a plan means that you are taking away their ability to make up rules as they go along. It takes away their power, and most of them never do. So don't waste your time trying to fix them. They're only listening for how things affect them. So make sure you keep it brief, businesslike, and to the point. It's not always easy to tell, but if you can sense that they're having a difficult day, let them have the child. They're unlikely to be able to handle the stress of the child. If they keep following you, then call the police. If you're at a park and they tell the child that you said bad things about them, then calmly tell the child that that's not true and that you would never do that. Then change the subject, and it will end up being better for the child if they don't have to deal with a narcissistic person having a meltdown. But defending yourself only escalates things. Keep it businesslike. Focus on the child. Let the accusations roll off your back, but focus on the positives. Celebrate the successes, big and small. Let the child know that you're proud of them. Give them positive feedback. Don't get drawn into the negativity. If you're lucky, you might be able to have a civil relationship where you can agree to disagree. But don't expect them to change. Don't engage. Narcissistic people thrive on engagement. They love to argue. They love to fight. It's exciting for them. But that means that the child will have to deal with that. And if they have to stick to the plan, they won't be able to use the child as a pawn against you. Make sure that you have some language in there about decision-making and how that will be handled. Is it major decisions only, or day-to-day decisions? Will you have joint custody or sole custody? Be as specific as possible. And they're using the child as a pawn to get at you because they can't get to you directly. And it's important to remember that you're not alone. There are resources available to help you. Reach out to friends and family for support, and consider joining a support group. It's important to take care of yourself so that you can be the best parent you can be. Well, the first thing to keep in mind is that you can't change them. You can't make them into a different person. All you can do is manage yourself and the situation. But it's important to remember that you can't expect them to suddenly start acting in a healthy, child-focused way. If they criticize you in front of the child, calmly tell them that you're not going to tolerate it, and then leave. They may threaten to take the child away from you or accuse you of being a bad parent. Don't fall for it. But if it's just difficult, sometimes you have to walk away and not engage. You may feel guilty, but you'll teach the child that it's okay to walk away from drama, and that's a valuable lesson. If you can't agree on those things, make sure that you have a written parenting plan. Put everything in writing. Put as much as you can into the parenting plan so that you have a roadmap to follow. Don't argue. Don't explain. Just leave. Make sure the child is safe, then leave. You may want to stay and try to explain your point of view, but that will only escalate things. Don't feed the trolls. Just leave. In fact, they may double down on the bad behavior in response to any criticism. Instead, the narcissistic parent expects the child to put their needs first. This could mean that the child has to listen to the narcissistic parent vent, or expecting the child to take sides in a family fight, or asking the child to run errands for them that the child doesn't have the ability to do. The narcissistic parent also won't be able to handle the child's disappointment. So if the child wants to do something that the narcissistic parent doesn't think is best for them, like maybe play a sport or do a certain activity, the narcissistic parent may react with rage. So let's start off by saying why this is such a challenge. Why? Because the narcissistic parent sees the child primarily as an extension of themselves, a little mini narcissist in training, if you will. They use the child to get supplies like attention and validation. The child is also a pawn to use against the other parent, and since the narcissistic parent sees the other parent primarily as a rival, the child can become a way to get at them, and the narcissistic parent will use the child to punish the other parent. That can mean anything from keeping the child from the other parent to telling the child bad things about the other parent or using the child to spy on the other parent. But when one of the parents has significant narcissistic traits, this becomes really challenging. The narcissistic parent is also unlikely to put the needs of the child ahead of themselves. Now, if you are co-parenting with someone who has significant narcissistic traits, you may find that they show some of these behaviors. Well, what are you supposed to do if you're co-parenting with someone who has some of these narcissistic traits? You need to be prepared for conflict and to not take it personally. You also need to be clear and firm about boundaries. This is tough with a narcissistic person. With a narcissistic person, boundaries have to be firm and consequences need to be swift and meaningful. Be prepared to go to court to establish custody and visitation schedules. For example, where will the child go for holidays and birthdays? This may mean going to court and working with a mediator or a collaborative divorce attorney. Don't try to work on the relationship. Now, I know that this may sound like a good idea. Narcissistic people don't change. It takes years of therapy for some of them to even recognize their problems, let alone make changes. Keep your interactions brief and businesslike. Stick to the facts. Don't try to explain your point of view. They won't hear it. Be prepared for manipulation. Narcissistic people are very manipulative. They'll use guilt, shame, threats, and fear to get you to do what they want. Be prepared to walk away. Sometimes you just have to walk away. If it's not safe, then call the police. Let the narcissistic person have the child on their difficult days. As hard as it is, don't take the bait. If you're at a playground and the narcissistic person starts yelling at you, pick up your things and calmly walk away. Don't engage. Don't defend yourself. It's really hard when someone accuses you of something you didn't do, especially if there's a child involved. Focus on the positives. It's really hard when you're dealing with someone who is constantly negative. It's not easy to co-parent with someone who has some narcissistic traits. It takes strength, patience, and stamina. Thanks again.
They are not like us. 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 They are